paint on your hands, Sunday shoes on the floor, laughing at the way I dance in that screen door glow. Your dog at my feet, you're stealing my hat. You said, boy, you're kinda sweet. I said, I can work with that. And that's how I fell, head first, heart open, in a kitchen in the country, with the radio broken. You were spinning in my t-shirt, bare feet on that worn out floor. I took the long way home, down a back road to your front porch. You drink coffee too strong, I take mine too light. You're up with the sunrise, I talk to the moon at night. But your head on my chest beats all those differences. Two hearts, one address, mail comes with your kisses. Yeah, that's how I fell, head first, heart open, in a kitchen in the country, with the radio broken. You were spinning in my t-shirt, bare feet on that worn out floor. I took the long way home, down a back road to your front porch. If this old truck ever gives out, we'll just stay right here. Yeah, we'll figure it out. 'Cause it's you in my arms that I'm driving toward. Every long day ends at your front porch door. There's a porch light glowing in a quiet town, soft wind moving the old leaves around, wooden steps that still know my name. Every road I took still feels the same. The fields breathe slow under open sky, dust on boots, stars in my eyes. Life don't hurry, it just goes, like a river that nobody controls. Every mile I've ever gone still leads me back to where I'm from. There's a porch light in the quiet town, waiting like it always has, like a heart that never shuts down, like a promise that always lasts. No matter how far I've been, no matter how long I've stayed away, there's a porch light in the quiet town, still calling me home today. Coffee cups on the old wood table, morning talk and a working radio. Simple days, but they felt so full, faith in God and a stubborn will. Neighbors wave from their front yards, kids on bikes, no locks on cars. A life built slow, piece by piece, nothing fancy, just honest peace. 1,000 roads, 1,000 signs, but this one always feels like mine. There's a porch light in the quiet town, waiting like it always has, like a heart that never shuts down, like a promise that always lasts. No matter how far There's a porch light in the quiet town, soft as a southern prayer, like a soul that won't back down, like a love that's always there when the world feels loud and cold and I'm tired of running around. I remember who I am and where I'm from. There's a porch light in the quiet town. Yeah, it's always been there, it always will be. A little light in a small town, waiting for me. Morning breaks over open land, a pale sun rising slow again. Fence lines drawn by tired hands and stories written in the sand. Tractors hum like quiet prayers, old barns leaning on years of air. Time moves soft where nobody's bold, where hearts grow deep and fields stay gold out here. Nothing needs to shine, it's enough just being alive. Where the fields stay golden and the sky feels wide and true. Every road is slowly chosen, every dream feels closer to life. Don't rush, it just unfolds like a song the wind once told. I learned who I was and who I'd be. Where the fields stay golden to me. Footprints fading in dusty lanes, echoes of laughter, tears and rain. Hands that built more than just homes, they built a world we called our own. Evenings fall with amber light, crickets singing through the night. In quiet towns you start to see that simple things are what you need. No loud promises, no disguise, just honest days beneath honest skies. Where the fields stay golden and the sky feels wide and true. Every road is slowly chosen, every dream feels closer to life. Don't rush, it just unfolds like a song the wind once told. I learned who I was and who I'd be. Where the fields stay golden to me. Walk streets where dreams burn fast, bright lights that never last. But nothing ever felt so real as dirt on hands and hearts that heal. Where the fields stay golden, where the silence speaks my name. Every memory feels woven into soil, wind and flame. If I ever lose my way, I know where I'll always be. I'll find myself again and again. Where the fields stay golden to me. Yeah, where the fields stay golden, that's where I'm meant to be. slow in the summer heat. Old trucks parked by the feed store, same faces I've known before. Church bells ringing every Sunday, high school lights on a Friday. Nothing here ever changes fast, but every moment seems built to last. Out here dreams don't shout, they grow quiet, strong and proud. Small town, big sky, wide open like a second chance. Every star feels close tonight, like it's hanging from my hands. No neon signs, no city cries, just truth written in the air. Small town, big sky, and a life that feels honest there. Dirt roads winding past old farms, golden fields wrapped in evening calm. Kids laughing by the river bend, promises that never end. We learn love in simple ways, borrowed guitars and late night days, when the world felt far away and tomorrow didn't need a name. Out here hearts don't hide, they beat slow with the countryside. Small town, big sky, wide open like a second chance. Every star feels close tonight, like it's hanging from my hands. No neon signs, no city cries, just truth written in the air. Small town, big sky, and a life that feels honest there. I've seen cities made of glass, where love burns bright and fades fast, but nothing ever felt so real as quiet nights and open fields. Small town, big sky, where every road knows my name. Every memory passes by like firelight in the rain. If I ever lose my way, I know where I'll always start. Small town, big sky, and a home inside my heart. Yeah, small town, big sky, that's where my story starts. Steam rising from an old tin cup, morning sun coming slow up. Wooden porch and a screen door sound, quiet life in a small farm town. Boots by the door, dust on the floor, radio low from 64. The day begins without a rush, just open skies and simple trust. Out here, time don't push, it teaches you to breathe and hush. Coffee on the old farm, sunlight in the yard, a simple kind of living, a life that isn't hard. No fast dreams, no false alarms, just faith in God and working arms. Yeah, everything I am started with coffee on the old farm. Mama's voice in the kitchen air, Daddy's boots by the rocking chair. Windows open, cold on the pane, winter light in the window frame. The world feels big, but not out here. Out here it's love, not fear. Every prayer feels close to heaven when your life's built slow and steady. 1,000 ways to chase it fast, but this kind of life was built to last. Coffee on the old farm, sunlight in the yard, a simple kind of living, a life that isn't hard. No fast dreams, no false alarms, just faith in God and working arms. Yeah, everything I am chasing things I didn't need. But peace don't live in what you buy. It lives in slow days and open skies. Coffee on the old farm, quiet in the air. Every little moment feels like a prayer. No big stages, no loud charms, just steady love and open arms. Yeah, everything I am still comes from coffee on the old farm. Yeah, it still feels like home. Every time I come back. There's a highway cutting through the fields, like an old scar that never heals. White lines fading under worn out tires, wind carrying forgotten fires. I've driven far from where I began, chasing dreams I barely understand. But every mile I've ever run still feels like it knows where I'm from. Every town looks different somehow, but these roads still know me now. These are the roads that know my name. Dust and asphalt, sun and rain. They've seen my wins, they've seen my shame. Yeah, these roads that know my name. No matter how far I roam, they whisper softly, boy, come home. And every mile and every flame, there are roads that know my name. Truck stops glowing in neon light, lonely songs in the dead of night. Radio voices keeping me awake, coffee strong enough to make me shake. I've seen cities built of steel, fast love that never feels real. But somewhere past the county line, my heart still hears those hometown signs. Every turn I thought was new still led me back to something true. These are the roads that know my name. Dust and asphalt, sun and rain. They've seen my wins, they've seen my shame. Yeah, these roads that know my name. No matter how far I roam, they whisper softly, boy, come home. And every mile and every flame, there are roads that know my name. And maybe I needed distance to see that home was always inside of me. The world is wide, but it's not the same without those roads that know my name. These are the roads that know my name. Old dirt tracks and county lanes. They've seen my youth, they've seen my change. Yeah, these roads that know my name. When my story's almost done and every race has been run, I'll follow back through dust and flame, the roads that still know my name. Yeah, they still know my name. Every mile of the way. house at the end of a gravel road. Paint worn down by the years it showed. Front yard quiet, swing on the tree. Still feels like it's waiting for me. Window glass with a golden glow. Late afternoon, moving slow. Every board still remembers us. Every wall still holds our dust. Time moved on, but somehow it never really left this house. That's the house where we grew up, where every dream was small but tough, where love was loud and money low, but hearts were strong and roots were slow. No matter where my story goes, no matter how far I end up, there's a part of me that never left the house where we grew up. Kitchen smells of old recipes, mama's laugh and the memories, daddy's hands worn from the land, teaching life without a plan. Hallway echoes of barefoot feet, summer nights and quiet streets. Every season carved its name into floors and window frames. We didn't know what we had back then, we just called it home, not heaven. That's the house where we grew up, where every dream was small but tough, where love was loud and money low, but hearts were strong and roots were slow. No matter where my story goes, no matter how far I end up, there's a part of me that never left the house where we grew up. Yeah. I've seen bigger houses, brighter lights, perfect walls and polished lives, but nothing ever felt so real as chip paint and a homemade meal. That's a house where we grew up, where every tear was held with love, where simple days were enough and silence spoke when words gave up. If I ever lose my way, if the world feels cold and rough, I remember who I am because of the house where we grew up. Yeah, it's still standing there, holding every version of us. The mailbox leans beside the road, rust on metal stories old. Wind moves slow through cedar trees, dust dancing in the late day breeze. I've been gone for a while now, chasing something I can't name out loud, but every line I write tonight feels like home in black and white. The world is loud where I've been, but my heart still speaks in wind. These are letters from the countryside, written in fields and open skies, and quiet nights and morning light, where time moves slow and truth feels right. No big words, no grand design, just simple thoughts between the lines. Yeah, every part of me still lives in letters from the countryside. Train tracks hum beyond the hill, old lakes and country lines. Some places never leave your skin, they're written deeper than your plans. These are letters from the countryside, written in fields and open skies, and quiet nights and morning light, where time moves slow and truth feels right. No big words, no grand design, just simple thoughts between the lines. Every part of me still lives in letters from the countryside. I've learned the language of crowded streets, of fast hellos and fast retreats, but nothing ever sounded true like silence broken by a view. These are letters from the countryside, from gravel roads and rivers wide, from wooden doors and porch light signs that still remember every time. If I forget who I'm meant to be, if the world feels strange outside, I'll read my heart again and again in letters from the countryside. Yeah, written in the wind, written in stands quiet in the pale morning light, breath of the fields in the cold of the night. Fence lines drawn in silver and gray, footprints fading where the cows once lay. Smoke rising slow from an old farmhouse. The world feels small somehow. No rush in the air, no sound too loud, just winter moving soft through the ground. Out here even silence speaks in simple words the heart still keeps. There's winter over the barn and peace in the open land. The sky feels wide and calm, like it's held in God's own hands. No storms inside my mind, no hurry in the way we are, just quiet days and steady hearts, with winter over the barn. Wood creak slow under frozen air, old memories hanging everywhere. Fields resting under pale blue skies, dreams asleep but still alive. A dog runs slow across the snow, tracks that only angels know. Even the cold feels warm somehow, and life is simple like it is now. In a world that moves too fast, here every moment wants to last. There's winter over the barn and peace in the open land. The sky feels wide and calm, like it's held in God's own hands. No storms inside my mind, no hurry in the way we are, just quiet days and steady hearts, with winter over the barn. I've seen winters made of steel, cold streets where nothing feels real, but nothing ever felt so true as frozen fields and skies of blue. There's winter over the barn, soft light on tight arms. Every breath feels slow and warm in the quiet of the farm. If I ever lose my way, if the world feels strange and far, I'll find myself again and again, with winter over the barn. Winter over the barn, and everything feels right. Streetlights hum on empty roads, windows glow behind old doors. The diner closes, the jukebox dies, last truck passes under quiet skies. Dogs bark once, then settle down. Silence wraps the small town. Every sound feels far away when the night begins to stay. Out here the world don't scream, it whispers softly through a dream. When the town falls asleep and the stars feel close to me, every thought runs slow and deep, like the river in the trees. No big words, no reason to speak, just heartbeats in the dark of streets. I remember who I am and where I've been when the town falls asleep again. Porch lights blinking one by one, daytime stories almost done. Wind moves low through corn and pine, like it's drawing gentle lines. Old houses breathing quiet tones, holding years in wooden bones. Somewhere far a train cries out, but it sounds like a distant doubt. In the dark I start to see what this place still means to me. When the town falls asleep and the stars feel close to me, every thought runs slow and deep, like the river in the trees. No big words, no reason to speak, just heartbeats in the dark of streets. I remember who I am and where I've been when the town falls asleep again. I've walked streets where nights don't end, where lights burn bright but hearts pretend, but nothing ever felt so real as quiet towns that slowly heal. When the town falls asleep and the sky feels wide and free, every memory I keep feels like home inside of me. If I ever lose my way, if my faith feels thin and weak, I'll find myself in silent streets when the town falls asleep. Yeah, when the town falls asleep, I finally hear my heart. Is quiet under pale street lights, crickets singing through the open night. Your shadow moves beside my own, two silhouettes on gravel and stone. No big plans, no need to speak, just slow steps and a gentle heartbeat. The world feels far from where we stand when I feel your hand in my hand. Some moments don't need a name, they're too honest for a frame. With your hand in mine tonight, everything feels calm and right. No loud dreams, no burning signs, just simple hearts and quiet time. If tomorrow takes us far away and life pulls us in different lines, I'll still remember who I was with your hand in mine tonight. Old houses sleeping on the hill, porch lights glowing soft and still. The air smells like rain and hay, another small town summer day. You don't ask where I've been, you don't try to change my skin. You just walk beside my pace like you've always known this place. In your silence I can see a kind of truth that's rare to me. With your hand in mine tonight, everything feels calm and right. No loud dreams, no burning signs, just simple hearts and quiet time. If tomorrow takes us far away and life pulls us in different lines, I'll still remember who I was with your hand in mine tonight. I've seen love that burn too fast, promises that never last, but this feels slow in the best way, like something real that chose to stay. With your hand in mine tonight, under small town stars and lights, every fear feels out of sight, every road feels less confined. If I ever lose my way, if my courage starts to decline, I'll remember how it felt with your hand in mine tonight. Yeah, just your hand in mine, and the world felt quiet. There's a sound you don't hear in the city. It's not loud and it's not pretty. It's the creak of wood on an old front porch and the soft hum of a passing torch. It's the wind through tall pine trees and the distant lowing of cattle in the breeze. Somewhere between silence and song, there's a place where my heart belongs. You don't notice it when you're young, but it stays with you when you're gone. That's the sound of home, in the quiet of the open land, in the way the daylight slowly fades through weathered doors and tired hands. It's not something you can buy or own, it's not written in stone or chrome. It's the voice that calls you back again. Yeah, that's the sound of home. Gravel roads under worn out tires, radio songs songs and fading fires, dogs barking once, then settling down, a single train beyond the town. You don't hear it in crowded streets, where every heart runs fast and weak, but in the stillness of the countryside, truth has nothing left to hide. Every mile I've ever roamed, I've carried this invisible home. That's the sound of home, in the quiet of the open land, in the way the daylight slowly fades through weathered doors and tired hands. It's not something you can buy or own, it's not written in stone or chrome, it's the voice that calls you back again. Yeah, that's the sound of home. I've heard voices in neon light, promises that burn too bright, but nothing ever felt so true as silence singing something new. That's the sound of home, in every breath the fields release, in every prayer the night sky holds, in every moment of simple peace. When the world feels loud and cold, and I feel too far to roam, I close my eyes and hear again. Yeah, that's the sound of home. There's a fence line running through the land, like a quiet border no one planned. Golden fields on either side, two stories growing far and wide. The wind carries words we never said, across the space where silence spread. We learn to talk without a sound, in open mouths, a quiet ground. Some distances you cannot see, they're written deep in memory. There are fields between us, white as the morning sky, not walls of anger or broken trust, just miles that slowly grew with time. No loud goodbyes, no burning scars, just space beneath the same old stars. Yeah, there are fields between us, and truth in every mile we are. Old barns leaning on tired beams, holding years and borrowed dreams, footprints fading in the dust of promises we never discussed. We stood so close in simpler days, before the world drew different ways. Now every road feels soft and slow, leading places we don't know. We didn't fall apart one day, we just grew in different ways. There are fields between us, white as the morning sky, not walls of anger or broken trust, just miles that slowly grew with time. No loud goodbyes, no burning scars, just space beneath the same old stars. Yeah, there are fields between us, and truth in every mile we are. I've seen cities built of stone, where hearts feel crowded and alone, but nothing ever felt so real as quiet distance over fields of steel. There are fields between us, but the wind still knows our names. Every sunset feels like us, written softly in the flames. If I ever cross that line again, if time decides to reunite, I'll still remember who we were across the fields in fading light. Yeah, across the fields, between us. Suitcase rests by the front door. Shoes you've outgrown on the floor. Morning light through the window frame. Everything looks the same, but I know it is not today. The house feels softer in a strange way. Your room still smells like yesterday, like time is trying to make you stay. I've said your name 1,000 times, but this one stays behind my eyes. This is a father's quiet goodbye. No big words, no reasons why. Just a long breath and a steady smile, so you don't see what's in my eyes. I won't ask you not to go. I won't slow the life you chose. I'll just stand right here and pray you're strong. This is a father's quiet goodbye. I taught you how to ride a bike, how to stand up after every fight, how to trust your own 2 feet when the world feels incomplete. Now you're chasing a wider sky, and I'm learning how to say goodbye. Not like loss, not like fear, just love learning how to let go, dear. I always knew this day would come, I just didn't know it'd feel like this one. This is a father's quiet goodbye. No big words, no reasons why. Just a long breath and a steady smile, so you don't see what's in my eyes. I won't ask you not to go. I won't slow the life you chose. I'll just stand right here and pray you're strong. This is a father's quiet goodbye. The world is big and you are brave, and more than anything I made. If you ever feel alone out there, close your eyes, I'm in your prayers. This is a father's quiet goodbye, but not the end, not the line. Just a chapter turning slow in time, in a story that's still mine and thine. Wherever your road decides to run, wherever you see the rising sun, my love will follow you all your life, past this father's quiet goodbye. Yeah, I'll be right here, always home. creaks in the afternoon. Dust hangs low in the quieted room. A clock ticks slow on the faded wall. Same old shadows as evening falls. Boots by the door, coats on nails. Stories written in dust and rails. Nothing fancy, nothing new. Just life the way it always grew. We never needed much to survive. Just time and hands and being alive. Under the same old roof, we learn what really matters. In the space between the truth and the weight of simple laughter. No silver lines, no golden proof. Just hearts that never lied. Yeah, we grew up strong and quiet. Under the same old roof inside. Morning light on worn out wood. Coffee strong but the silence good. Windows open to fields and sky. Dreams that never learned to fly. Voices low in the kitchen air. Old songs playing on broken chairs. Every season left its mark on faded pain and tender hearts. We didn't have much to explain. We just learned love without a name. Under the same old roof, we learn what really matters. In the space between the truth and the weight of simple laughter. No silver lines, no golden proof. Just hearts that never lied. Yeah, we grew up strong and quiet. Under the same old roof inside. I've seen houses made of glass, perfect walls that never last. But nothing ever felt so real as worn out floors that slowly heal. Under the same old roof, where every memory still stays. Where quiet nights and honest days taught us more than words could say. If I ever lose my way, if the world feels loud and cruel, I remember who I am because of the life under the same old stood there by the county line, sunset burning through your eyes. One hand on the steering wheel, one heart caught between what's wrong and real. The town was quiet behind your back, old roads waiting for you to crack. You didn't look back, didn't hesitate. You knew some roads don't wait. Sometimes staying hurts the most, sometimes leaving saves your soul. You took the road you had to take, not the one that felt safe, not the one that felt like home, but the one you had to own. Every mile cut deep and slow, but you kept driving anyway, yeah. You took the road you had to take, and it changed you in every way. Gas station lights in midnight rain, the radio songs about love and pain. Every town felt strange and new, but every sky still felt like you. You carried dust on worn out shoes and quiet dreams you couldn't lose. the road you had to take, through every doubt and every ache. Not for glory, not for fame, but to learn your own name. And if one day you turn around and see those fields where you once stayed, you'll understand why you survived the road you had to take. Yeah, the road you had to take was never meant to be easy. The porch still leans toward the evening light, the wood worn down by years and nights. Rocking chairs whisper in the breeze, like old songs only memories keep. Footsteps fade on the gravel drive, but something here still feels alive. Between the silence and the sound, love never really left this ground. Time moved on, but somehow it never took the feeling out. This is the porch where love stayed when the world outside changed, where laughter lingered in the air long after voices disappeared. No loud words, no perfect plans, just quiet hearts and honest hands. Yeah, this is the porch where love stayed when everything else slipped away. Summer nights under lantern glow, stories told in voices low, cold sweet tea and slow guitars, fireflies dancing near the stars. We didn't know what we were building then, just moments we thought would never end. But years move fast and people strayed, still love learned how to stay. Even when the house grew old, some feelings never lost their hold. This is the porch where love stayed when the world outside changed, where laughter lingered in the air long after voices disappeared. No loud words, no perfect plans, just quiet hearts and honest hands. Yeah, this is the porch where love stayed when everything else slipped away. Fast promises that never last, but nothing ever felt so true as quiet evenings next to you. This is the porch where love stayed, where time learned how to wait, where every scar and every smile found meaning in a little while. If I ever lose my way, if my heart begins to fray, I'll come back to this quiet place, porch where love stayed. Yeah, the porch where love stayed, still waiting in the light.
On a crowded street, footsteps rushing past my feet, glass and steel where dreams collide, faces passing side by side. The city breathes in restless tones, concrete towers, silent phones. But when I lift my eyes above, I see the sky I used to love. The world feels different where I stand, but the stars still understand. In this distant city, unfamiliar stars, I feel the miles between who I was and who we are. The streets don't know my name, the nights don't feel the same, but somewhere in the dark I find familiar stars in a distant city sky. Late night trains and taxi signs, voices lost in busy lines. Every window tells a story of lonely hearts and borrowed glory. I walk alone through foreign sound, searching for familiar ground. And in the silence of my mind, old fields and porch lights intertwine. I thought I'd left that life behind, but it still lives inside my mind. In this distant city, under familiar stars, I feel the miles between who I was and who we are. The streets don't know my name, the nights don't feel the same, but somewhere in the dark I find familiar stars in a distant city sky. I've learned the language of fast days, of crowded rooms and lonely ways, but nothing ever felt so true as quiet nights and skies of blue. In this distant city, where everything feels far, I close my eyes and suddenly I'm back where home things are. If I ever lose my way, if my courage starts to scar, I'll look up and remember the familiar stars above this distant city heart. Yeah, the city feels far, but the stars feel close. Still plays at dawn, crackling songs from days long gone. A worn-out speaker by the barn, singing through the cold and warm. Daddy's guitar on the wooden wall, strings still shaking through it all. Some melodies never fade, they live in dust and serenade. Time can pass, years can change, but some songs never leave the land. These are the songs the farm never forgot, played in kitchens and parking lots, in quiet nights and summer heat, where hearts and rhythm used to meet. No city lights, no polished art, just simple notes and honest hearts. Yeah, these are the songs the farm never forgot, still playing in every part. Tractor engines in steady beat, boots tapping slow on wooden feet, mama humming by the stove, old love songs we never outdrove. Every note told who we were, no big words but meaning sure. When life felt heavy on our backs, music kept us on the tracks. We didn't have much, that's true, but we had songs that carried us
are the songs the farm never forgot, played in kitchens and parking lots, in quiet nights and summer heat, where hearts and rhythm used to meet. No city lights, no polished art, just simple notes and honest hearts. Yeah, these are the songs the farm never forgot, still playing in every part. Heard songs in crowded bars under neon lights and broken stars, but nothing ever felt so real as old guitars and rusted steel. These are the songs a farm never forgot, whispered low when the world got hot. And every prayer and every mile, they shaped our dreams and formed our style. If I ever lose my way, if I forget who I am or not, I'll listen close to the quiet land and find the songs the farm never forgot. Playing in the heart of a whisper through the quiet night. Old pickup trucks on gravel lanes, headlights cutting through the plains. A screen door slams somewhere down the road. A dog barks once and silence grows. The world feels wide but not alone out here. Every mile feels known. When the city sleeps behind your mind, you start to see what you left behind. These are slow nights in the heartland, where time moves like a steady hand, where every star feels close enough to touch the dreams we never lost. No crowded streets, no burning signs, just honest hearts and open skies. Yeah, these are slow nights in the heartland, where life still understands. Porch lights glow on tired farms, warm yellow halos and quiet arms. Old radios and whispered prayers, rust on gates and folding chairs. Teenage laughter by the river bend, promises we thought would never end. Every sound feels deep and true when silence sings the way it do. Out here you don't pretend, you learn who you are in the end. These are slow nights in the heartland, where time moves like a steady hand, where every star feels close enough to touch the dreams we never lost. No crowded streets, no burning signs, just honest hearts and open skies. Yeah, these are slow nights in the heartland, where life still understands. I've seen cities built to flame, where nobody knows your name, but nothing ever felt so real as dirt roads under open steel. These are slow nights in the heartland, where memories still take a stand, where every mile and every scar feels written in the way we are. If I ever lose my way, if my courage starts to bend, I'll come back to these quiet skies. Slow nights in the heartland, yeah. Slow nights in the heartland. barn stands quiet at the edge of a field, wood worn down by time and yield. Hay bales resting in golden light, dust floating slow in the fading night. Somewhere between the earth and blue, I learned to dream without knowing how to. With muddy boots and open eyes, I grew up under endless skies. Out here, you start to see how small you are, how free you can be. Between the barn and the sky, I found a place where my heart could lie. No loud prayers, no perfect signs, just simple faith in silent lines. Every dream fell close and far, written softly in every star. Yeah, between the barn and the sky, I learned who I was inside. Wind runs slow through tall corn rows, carrying secrets nobody knows. Old gates singing in a rusted tone, stories older than bone and stone. We didn't have much to explain, just seasons turning through sun and rain. Every loss and every gain felt smaller under open plains. The world felt wide but somehow near when the sky felt close and clear. Between the barn and the sky, I found a place where my heart could lie. No loud prayers, no perfect signs, just simple faith in silent lines. Every dream felt close and far, written softly in every star. Yeah, between the barn and the sky, I learned who I was inside. I've walked streets where heaven felt far, hidden behind glass and cars, but nothing ever felt so true as dirt roads under skies of blue. Between the barn and the sky, where every memory learned to fly, where quiet days and honest nights taught me how to hold the light. If I ever lose my way, if my courage starts to cry, I'll come back to that open place between the barn and the sky. Yeah, between the barn and the sky, that's where my story began. Road is quiet past midnight, gravel shining in pale moonlight, old houses sleeping on the hill. Everything feels calm and still. One window glows in soft yellow tone, like it's waiting there alone. The world feels wide but somehow near, when that little light is clear. In the dark I start to know some lights never really go. That's the last light in the window, still burning through the night, like a heart that never lets go, like a memory holding across the yard. Old fences whisper soft and hard. Footsteps fade on wooden stairs. Time hanging heavy in the air. Some houses hold more than walls. They hold every rise and fall. And even when the world feels cold, their light still does what it's told. Not every story needs a sound. Some truths just glow around. That's the last light in the window, still burning through the night. Like a heart that never lets go, like a memory holding tight. No loud words, no need to call, just a glow that says it all. Yeah, that's the last light in the window, guiding me home in the dark. I've seen lights in crowded streets, neon signs and restless beat, but nothing ever felt so true as quiet homes with a single view. That's the last light in the window, where every road ends slow, where every tide soul can go when it no longer knows. If I ever lose my way, if my faith begins to grow dark, I'll follow that familiar glow. The last light in the window. Yeah, the last light in the window, still waiting there.
Morning comes without a sound, light touching softly on the ground. A rooster sings beyond the hill. The world feels honest, calm and still. Old boots resting by the door, dirt roads calling like before. No grand plans, no need to pretend, just another day about to begin. Out here you learn to see that less can feel like everything. This is where simple days begin, where hearts are light and roads are thin, where time moves slow and truth runs deep, and dreams are easy just to keep. No fast lives, no golden skin, just quiet mornings drawing in. Yeah, this is where simple days begin, and I remember who I am again. Coffee steaming in chipped cups, old songs playing as the sun comes up. Neighbors wave from wooden gates, no rushing hearts, no fear of late. Fields breathing under open skies, promises written in sunrise. Every sound feels small and true, like life was made for me and you. The world feels lighter when you know you don't need much to make it whole. This is where simple days begin, where hearts are light and roads are thin, where time moves slow and truth runs deep, and dreams are easy just to keep. No fast lives, no golden skin, just quiet mornings drawing in. Yeah, this is where simple days begin, and I remember who I am again. I've chased nights that burn too bright, crowded streets and borrowed lights, but no simple days begin, where every loss feels less like sin, where every scar can slowly heal, and every moment starts to feel. If I ever lose my way, if the world pulls me too far in, I'll come back to this gentle place where simple days begin. Yeah, where simple days begin. That's where I belong. Your car's waiting by the gravel drive, engine humming like a nervous heart, morning light on your tired eyes, a new life ready to start. Your hands shake just a little bit as you close the trunk in the cold air. I stand quiet, pretend to strength like I've done 1,000 times before. I taught you how to walk, how to stand, but I can't walk this road for you, my friend. This is your first long road, stretching far beyond our town, past the fields where you grew up, past the porch where love was found. I won't hold you back, I won't tell you not to go, but my heart is learning slowly how to let you take your first long road. I remember your first bicycle, wobbly wheels and fearless laughs. You look back just to see if I was there before you rode too fast. Now the world is wider than these hills, and your dreams are bigger than our skies. You don't look back this time, but I still see the little girl in your eyes. You're not running from home, you're running toward who you're meant to become. This is your first long road, stretching far beyond our town, past the fields where you grew up, past the porch where love was found. I won't hold you back, I won't tell you not to go, but my heart is learning slowly how to let you take your first long road. Maybe love is not to keep, but to give wings when they're ready to leave. If the world feels cold or strange, remember this place still knows your name. This is your first long road that won't erase where you came from. Every mile will carry home, and every rising sun. And if one day you feel lost and the world feels too cold, you'll always find your way back here, beyond your first long road. Yeah, drive slow, home is never gone. road is long behind your wheels, miles of dust and broken seals. Cities rise and fall like waves, promises that never stay. You've learned to speak in different tones, to feel at home in crowded zones. But somewhere past the neon glow, there's still a place you'll always know. You can run, you can roam, but some voices never leave your bones. Home is still calling you through every mile and every year, through every silence you walk through, through every hidden fear. No matter how far you go, no matter who you try to be, home is still calling you, soft as a memory. Old roads whisper through the night, porch lights glowing warm and bright, fields that never learned to lie, under wide and open skies. You thought you left it far behind, a chapter closed in another time. But every dream you chased away still carried echoes of yesterday. Some places don't fade with time, they live between your heart and mine. Home is still calling you through every mile and every year, through every silence you walk through, through every hidden fear. No matter how far you go, no matter who you try to be, home is still calling you, soft as a memory. I've seen worlds built out of steel where nothing slow is ever real, but nothing ever felt so true as dirt roads leading back to you. Home is still calling you when the world feels loud and cold, when your courage starts to bend and your story feels untold. If you ever lose your way, if your heart forgets to see, just follow the quiet voice inside. Home is still calling you.